We shall be looking at the ciliate moving slowly between those two plots of debris. It shall soon die, for it has lost a loss, and we shall be observing its death and how it goes to the state of decomposition. We go for a zoom. It is very much still alive. You can see the beating of the cilia. This is a ciliate which has peculiarly special cilia at both the ends. It shall soon die, and when it dies, the cilia will stop beating. That will be the first sign of imminent death. We focus it more under a 400 plus magnification. Here it is, still moving. We bring it in the center and just observe it for some time. This is at around 700 to 800 times magnified. A state of life is ensured when the environment within the body is at a kind of a state whereby it resists resistance to becoming equilibrious with the surrounding medium. Requires a lot of energy, and when an organism dies, this process of resisting, of becoming a part of the environment itself, brings about death. When this organism will die, which eventually it will in a few minutes from now, its body will start accumulating water from the surrounding medium, and its delicate body cover, the pellicle and the plasma membrane, won't be able to hold it for an extended period, and so this organism will explode. All these cell organelles, they will be grit free and we shall start immediate decomposition. This will be an event which would be painful to watch, but at the same time, it is an important phenomena in general ecology, because by this process, energy from this organism will be available to other microbes through its cytoplasm, protoplasm, and other whatever decays it leaves back. It still has a lot of energy left, but how long will it maintain itself will be all just to him. We shall now just watch. I must admit, this little animal has a lot of strength left. When I saw it first, slowing down its movements and motions, I was of the opinion that it won't survive for more than a minute or maximum 2 minutes. And by the time I thought that I'll be ready with the setup to record his death, its death, I may miss it, but then he has defied all the odds. He's a fighter. One important signal that we notice is that the contractile vacuole is almost absent now, and the body is becoming slightly more slipper shaped, spindle shaped. A little more bloated in the middle, in the mid region. And its body has accumulated a lot of debris on the surface, especially the middle part. It has been resisting death for a long time now, and I must only by its own will, desire, and the struggle that it has been doing. As long as it keeps on beating its cilia, it will be living because fresh water and fresh food will be entering into its body. Fresh water would be bringing a little bit of oxygen along, which gives it further energy to beat those cilia. And when that energy will be lost, the beating of the cilia would be lost and it get into a vortex of death. And especially in the caudal part, the posterior part, it's showing a kind of, and the body has become too much bloated like a balloon. It is no longer the typical slipper shape it was earlier, but has become quite bloated to it. The posterior cilia are not moving much. They have probably given up their efforts, and the cilia in the anterior part surrounding the mouth, they are still beating vigorously. A few cilia on the body, they also are beating at times, but as if they are doing so for a kind of resistance to this movement. It's been it's been over 15 minutes that it has been moving, rotating at the same place without much change in the atmosphere. And we have seen it grow from a comparatively slender form to a kind of a potato-like structure. Even the pellicle is not able to contain the shape it had initially done. And this increase in bulk is further resisting its swift movement. Oh, that's a bad place to be. He's near some debris. Please move away. This is not what I was expecting. I expected him to die at a place that was clean so that we could see through him. All right, so he has moved a bit. He's like a Twitter bird. He's become a Twitter bird. Seems he's saying to me, I'll die another day. Oh, that's a water vacuole pushing him. So the environment has become more stressed. I don't think it'll die normal like any other ciliate. He's been a fighter. He's been resisting all the adversities of the environment. Even his posterior cilia are back in action and seems to be a little reshaping itself. The water is closing down, the air bubble is closing in, and this organism is getting a harsher climate again. But one thing is for sure, it has retained to a great extent its original form of a spindle, and those little vacuoles that we see on the top, they are also going back. They are grown back, and there is emergence of a notch. Vacuoles are forming, and it is much active than what it had been a few minutes back. So I have to change the heading, the title of this video, Die Another Day. The body inclusions have become kind of more transparent, and there is a specific notch-like structure growth in the pellicle in the outside, let us say on the right side. Maybe there was a kind of physiological development happening within the organism by means of which it was rearranging certain things, maybe endomixes or something of that sort, which had kept the animal in a different stage and shape altogether. And now that the stage is over, it has become much active, and its overall ciliary beating has increased. Its movement has become much pronounced, and it is appearing more active than what it was a few minutes back, from a state of sluggishness to a state of activity. And it is the pursuit of an environment which is more conducive for it to live that it is probably seeking now. But the little band of water air interface is closing on him. So it's a race against time when he finds an environment which is suitable for him. This air bubble is slowly increasing, pushing him to a corner. And we see certain channels opening up within the body protoplasm, as if there is a kind of a rearrangement and reorganization of the internal organelles. The water is receding fast, air is increasing, which is a threat for this organism. Let us see how he faces this harshness of the environment. The bubble breaks. Threat is real. But one thing, the spindle shape is almost back, and the posterior cilia have been now beating very prominently than what they were doing a few minutes back. From a shape like that of a potato, it has become back into its normal, more identifiable form. He sure is a fighter. We have to rename this video. It's no longer a death, but a lesson for us. Resist death, live for death another day. Live and do everything to resist the harshness of this environment that is surrounding us. Over the past few minutes, there has been a very significant rearrangement within the body itself, and we see a completely different internal organization than what it was some time back. From a state of almost homogeneity, now we see certain differentiations. Probably that was endomixes that was happening. There were no air vacuoles, there were no significant substrates, but we now see some linear linings, as if certain things have been arranged in a linear fashion, stacked, and maybe it is preparing for a process, a method by which they resist absolute death and become in a state of dormancy, attain a state of dormancy and come back to life when the environmental conditions are favorable again. It could be that, but the cellular organization has been very significantly observed. The cilia near the mouth, they're not beating anymore much to that state of activity. They have become a little less agile. They are clearly visible here. Still, the body is carrying a little bit of debris along. It's been 27 minutes, beyond 27 minutes, that we have been observing this animalcule, and it has been giving us a few lessons. The environment is becoming harsh and harsher. It is becoming dense, it is constricting, it is putting it under extreme stress, pushing him into newer dimensions, and it has been resisting this change by just staying alive. I don't think it'll die so soon. Live, my dear friend, live. Probably one very profound message this animal has given to us is it's not over till we call it's over. Again, those streakings are dissolving. So there is some physiological restructuring and reorganization happening inside here. Exactly what is happening is not known, to me at least. Some vacuoles are forming again. And the shape is also going towards a less sharp one, from a less sharp one to again to a state of being slightly bloatish. a fix. It's been half an hour. I was thinking that this animal is going to die within 5 minutes, and so I started relaying this. But then he has defied all those things. All my presumptions have been laid to the dustbin, and now I'm not sure what I should do next. Should I stop streaming and let. Oh, there's this air bubble approaching. Air bubble approaching it. Oh, they are approaching from two sides. Where does it have to go? Does he have space? He has ample space. Unless he doesn't get squeezed between the two, he has a lot of space. And he escaped. He has escaped once again. It has somehow sensed a change in the environment. Probably it was the gradient of air pressure or whatever. But it has moved away from that area to a more comfortable zone. And it has been eating well now. Alright, so at 40 minutes I'll stop streaming. It's too much that I had this opinion that this animal won't survive another few minutes. He has defied all the odds for over 35 minutes now. He has taught me a lesson: never give up. Never, never give up. Come what may, don't give up. The shape is again changing to a great extent, becoming like a boomerang at times, sometimes like just a blob. Again, it's assuming the similar shape that it had been doing a while back. A little belly-like pronouncement on the dorsal, on the lateral side, and the sharpness and acuteness of the anterior and posterior ends has been much rounded. The body is showing some sort of spasmic jerks. And it's going out of the frame. Again, the cell interior has become again homogenized, kind of homogenized, and those specialized streaks which were visible and very well defined till a while back, they are lost. All right, dear friend, there's a bubble approaching you again. Little friend, water film, air water film interface is approaching upon it. It has tasted, kind of tasted that interface and will make certain decisions of it. Will it swim away? This is the air bubble. So another 30 seconds and I shall cut away the streaming. But the lessons are that when I was observing this animal for the first time, when I saw it on the slide, I thought it won't survive for more than 5 minutes. But it has defied all the odds, and it's been over 40 minutes now that it has been live, kicking, freely swimming, and rearranging its body, attuning to the kind of environmental challenges, and still living. So, the message that I take from this little animal who has humbled me to great extent is never lose hope, never give up, come what may, give your best, keep alive and keep kicking. Thank you, my friend. Thank you so very much for this wonderful message that you relate to me. I'll put you back to the water sample from where you came. Hope you all get to live a long, long life, and may your progeny multiply. Goodbye.